Hi, it's Emily Jorgen, senior midfielder of Trinity, and you are watching SCAC 360.
Hello SCAC Nation, and welcome to the first edition of SCAC 360. I am James Hill here in SCAC Studios in Atlanta, Georgia, and from early September all the way until late April, this will be your weekly one-stop shop for everything that happens in the previous weekend in the SCAC. We look forward to providing the fans of the conference outstanding content all year long, but it all starts today. And today we have a great show for you, so let's get things underway. We begin with men's soccer, and what a week it was for the league as SCAC teams combined to go 8-4-1 in the opening weekend and putting on a show in the process, scoring a combined total of 24 goals. Let's recap this past weekend, and we'll start things out in Irving, Texas.
The Dallas Crusaders opened things up at home against Concordia, Texas, and Southwestern out of Kansas. The Crusaders defeated the Tornadoes by a score of 1-0 to open up their season, and then knocked off Southwestern Kansas 3-0. Here you will see junior Colton Allen scoring one of his two goals to go along with an assist on the weekend, and he was named SCAC Offensive Player of the Week. We move to San Antonio, Texas, where the 5th-ranked Trinity Tigers were in action against St. Scholastica and Wash U out of Missouri. The Tigers got a great performance from freshman Brent Mendelkorn, who scored 2 goals on the weekend, including the game winner against Wash U, while sophomore Goncalo Santana added 2 assists on the weekend as the Tigers opened up strong. The other Tigers, the Colorado College Tigers, had a good weekend, going 1-1, including a win over Mary Hardin Baylor by the score of 2-0. They did drop one accidental by the score of 3-2. Max Grossenbacher, who you're going to see here in a moment, scores a beautiful goal here. He had 1 goal and 1 assist on the weekend. Junior Tim Huddle added 1 goal and 2 assists. Texas Lutheran was in action as well, going 1-1 on the weekend, with starting with a 3-0 defeat of Howard Payne, and then dropped a tough match to Concordia, Texas by the score of 3-2. David Ching had a goal and assist, while sophomore Nathan Drouillard had 1 goal and 1 assist. Let's take a look at the SCAC men's soccer scoreboard. You'll see Austin College played to a 0-0 draw with East Texas Baptist. Senior goalkeeper Andrew Celio had a shutout, including 9 saves during SCAC Defensive Player of the Week. Centenary got the Emmett Rakowski era off with a bang, a 5-3 win over East Texas Baptist. Sophomore Jason Aiken, a goal and 2 assists in that game. Schreiner also opened the season well with a 2-0 victory over Howard Payne. Sophomore Manny Lozoya had a goal, and Southwestern Pirates had a tough opening weekend, dropping a pair of games. Let's take a quick look at the SCAC standings. Obviously still very early in the year in men's soccer. Dallas and Trinity are on top, both at 2-0 on the season. Centenary and Schreiner sit at 1-0. Behind them is Austin College, just a draw on the season. Colorado College and Texas Lutheran follow at 1-1, and so far Southwestern sits at the bottom at 0-2. Again, let's recognize your SCAC Players of the Week in men's soccer. Colton Allen, a junior forward from Roanoke, Texas, was selected as the Offensive Player of the Week. He had a hand in both wins for the Crusaders this weekend, scoring the team's only goal in a 1-0 shutout of Concordia, Texas, and added another goal and assist in the 3-0 win over Southwestern University out of Kansas. Allen was spectacular on the weekend. And on the defensive side, Andrew Celio, the only match he had against East Texas Baptist was a double overtime draw, but a shutout for Celio. He marked 9 saves, holding off ETBU's last-second shot. Would have given him the win, and so far he is tied for the conference lead after the first weekend of play in saves.
We stay on the pitch and move into women's soccer, where all 7 SCAC schools were in action, including last season's national runner-up, the Trinity Tigers. Let's recap the week, starting with those Tigers in San Antonio.
The number 2 team in the nation opened up their season on Friday afternoon as the Tigers welcomed in St. Scholastica, and Trinity was dominating, defeating St. Scholastica by the score of 7-1. Senior Emily Jorgens, well, she picked up right where she left off. 2 goals and 2 assists, while Abby Tisdale added a goal and an assist. As we moved to Irving, Texas, the University of Dallas suffered a 3-2 loss to Concordia despite 2 goals from Nicole Johnson, as you see one of them there getting the rebound off the penalty kick. However, they responded against Southwestern out of Kansas with this header to take a 1-0 victory. We moved to Texas Lutheran, and though it was a tough weekend for the Bulldogs, you'll see a brilliant effort here by Sinead Kirkpatrick putting one up, but just off the post, they would fall to Concordia by the score of 1-0. As we look at the SCAC women's soccer scoreboard, the Austin College Roos got off to a great start, going 2-0 on the weekend. Junior Francesca Lozoya, the goalkeeper, 2 shutouts, including 12 saves. A great start for her. How about the Shriner University Mountaineers getting a win over Howard Payne to open the season 2-1 before a tough 3-2 loss in overtime to Huston Tillotson. Other than that, it was a tough weekend for SCAC members Centenary and Southwestern as they both went 0-2 on the weekend. We'll take a quick look at the SCAC women's soccer standings after 1 weekend of play. Austin College sitting on top at 2-0 with Trinity right behind them with a 1-0 record. Dallas and Shriner sitting a tie for 3rd place at 1-1. And after that, 3 0-2 teams in Centenary, Southwestern, and TLU, but very early in the season as they will look to make up ground. Finally, we recognize this weekend's SCAC Players of the Week. The Offensive Player of the Week, Emily Jorgens from Trinity University, a senior from Austin, Texas. We mentioned she picked up right where she left off. She led the scoring effort against St. Scholastica. 2 goals and 2 assists, all coming in the first half. Jorgens was on fire, an .833 shot on goal percentage, about as good as it gets. She starts out with 6 points on the season. On the defensive side, it's Francesca Lozoya of Austin College, a junior from Lubbock, Texas. She was outstanding, earning a pair of shutouts, a 1-0 victory over East Texas Baptist, or excuse me, a 1-0 victory over Howard Payne, a 2-0 victory over East Texas Baptist. 12 saves on the weekend, 7 against Howard Payne and 5 against ETBU. The 2 shutouts are just 1 away from totaling the number of shutouts she had just last season.
All 6 cross-country teams started their season this past weekend, including for the first time ever, a Texas Lutheran University men's cross-country team. We begin our recap in San Antonio, where 3 SCAC schools were competing.
We take you to the Alamo City opener, where the Texas Lutheran University men's cross-country team competed in their first meet ever, finishing 3rd in the non-Division I category, led by freshman Blake Westbrook, who finished 11th overall. The Trinity University Tigers, though, were on fire on the men's side, led by junior Taylor Piskey, finishing 2nd overall, 1st among non-Division I runners to lead the Trinity men's team to a non-D1 win at the Alamo City opener. The women also won the non-D1 event, led by senior Michelle Oberndorf, who finished 5th overall and 2nd among non-D1 runners. The TLU women took 3rd, led by sophomore Sarah Frischke, with a 5th overall finish, while Shriner men and women both took 4th. The men were led by Kevin Perez, who finished 14th overall, and the women, Adriana Mercado, 18th overall. Over in Georgetown, Southwestern University, the women won a dual meet with Concordia University. Freshman Emily Bujama finished 1st overall with a time of 21:13.86. However, the men fell just short in the dual meet, but junior Alex Madrano was 1st overall with a time of 17:54.79. University of Dallas finished 3rd at the Texas Wesleyan annual opener on the men's side. Ryan McAney, 7th overall in that race, while the women finished 2nd overall. Claire Myers, an excellent run on her behalf, 3rd overall for the Crusaders. Colorado College wrapped up their preseason competing at Colorado Boulder. Meanwhile, Centenary and Austin College did not compete this week, but will be in action next week.
Hello, this is head coach Rick Swan from Colorado College Women's Volleyball, home of the CC Tigers, and you are watching SCAC 360.
Finally, we finish this week's recap with volleyball. All 8 schools were in action over the weekend and fared well against strong competition. We begin our recap in Colorado Springs.
The Colorado College Tigers were dominant in their first tournament of the season as the number 8 team in the country rolled to 4 wins on their home court. Courtney Burkett was named most valuable player of the tournament with 42 kills and 25 digs to go with a .333 hitting percentage and earn SCAC Offensive Player of the Week. As we go to Seguin, Texas, the Texas Lutheran Bulldogs went 3-1 on the weekend. Were impressive, winning 3 games by a score of 3-0. Megan Lee picked up right where she left off with SCAC Defensive Player of the Week. The Southwestern Pirates were also in action, as you see, going 2-2 on the weekend. Caitlin Foster led the way with 50 kills and 88 digs. University of Dallas, tough weekend for them, as you see some highlights from the UTD Labor Day tournament. They went 0-4 on the weekend and suffered a tough 3-2 loss to Texas Dallas. As we take a look at the SCAC volleyball scoreboard, the Austin College Roos started their season 5-0. Rebecca Franklin led the way with 38 kills, while Rachel Fusselman was great defensively with 66 digs. The Trinity Tigers started their season 3-1 as Erin Kunzenberry was a menace on both sides of the ball. 36 kills with a .500 hitting percentage to go with 17 blocks. The Centenary Ladies went 2-2 to open up their season. Rachel Perkins led the way with 53 kills, while Allison Lesweski added 138 assists to open their weekend. A tough weekend for the Shriner Mountaineers as they start the year off 0-3. Kelly Bolin, 80 assists and 51 digs. We take a quick glance at the opening weekend's SCAC standings. The Austin College Roos sit on top with a 5-0 record. First time they've started 5-0 since 2010. Colorado College sits at 4-0. Texas Lutheran Trinity sit in the tie for third at 3-1, followed by Centenary and Southwestern at 2-2. Finally, Dallas and Shriner start off at the bottom at 0-4, but still early in the season, plenty of time to make up. Let's recognize this week's SCAC Volleyball Players of the Week. First, the Offensive Player of the Week from Colorado College, junior right side hitter Courtney Burkett from Newberry Park, California. Burkett was the MVP at the Colorado College Invitational, helping her team to a 4-0 record. She was the team leader in kills in 3 of her 4 matches, getting 42 total kills on the weekend. She had a .333 hitting percentage and averaged 3.5 kills per set. The Defensive Player of the Week, senior libero Megan Lee of Texas Lutheran University. The senior out of Universal City, Texas, was outstanding in her first weekend as she had 97 digs for the Bulldogs, averaging 6.93 digs per set, outdoing her average of 6.21 a year ago, which was number 3 in the country. She racked up double-digit assists in all 4 games, including 37 against Wisconsin Oshkosh.
That'll do it for us at SCAC World Headquarters. We want to hear your feedback, fans, so reach out to us at SCAC Sports on Facebook, at SCAC Sports on Twitter using the hashtag SCAC360, or simply right here on YouTube in the comments section below. We thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again next week on SCAC 360.
The Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference, a conference of good sports.